Hello, hello, hello. This is Issues of the Day weekend edition. Um, I have I normally release a weekend edition of the Issues of the Day intelligence brief. It is a podcast. It is a recording for my newsletter, which comes on every weekend. It's an intelligence brief talking about the what is occurring on the weekend in the sphere of AI intelligence, AI security fundamental breaches for medium enterprises. So, this Issues of the Day podcast is dedicated to Saturday, Sunday, 31st to 30th to 31st May. 30th to 31st May, and it is the latest and up to date. This is the weekend we've just finished with an explosive Champions League match. So I have to put out all the details of the intel, though it has come ideally not at the right moment, but it is what is ensuring and what has ensued. So welcome. I would like to welcome you to Issues of the Day, the weekend intelligence brief from Frederick Cybersecurity. I'm Frederick Wakuliaka. It was Saturday, the 30th of May 2026, when this intelligence briefing was drafted. This publication is the companion to the AI breach report, which I publish every Wednesday and Friday on LinkedIn. If the events I cover today demand deeper technical and business analysis, Wednesday's edition delivers the full breakdown. If you are not yet subscribed to the AI breach report, the link is on my LinkedIn account. I won't say it's in the description because I've not put it. I'm not yet coming to put these things there, but it's a process. Everything will be coming together eventually. So at the moment, everything is on LinkedIn. If you want, you can go to my YouTube channel at Frederick Wakuliaka 4561 on YouTube. This weekend that has passed, I need to tell you something uncomfortable, and I am going to tell it to you plainly because plain language is what the situation requires. The week ending the 30th of May 2026 demonstrated with unusual clarity that the perimeter model of enterprise security is not merely outdated. I had talked about this previously. I mentioned this on Friday. I've mentioned it before. I mentioned it in my last podcast on Friday that the perimeter model of enterprise security is not merely is outdated, but today I'm telling you it is not merely outdated. It is now actively irrelevant as a primary frame for thinking about organizational risk. Three of the four major stories in this edition involve attackers who never needed to defeat a firewall. They never exploited a software flaw. They never navigated an intrusion detection system. They made a phone call, they poisoned the search result, they hid inside the tools your developers trust. The fourth story is a rare piece of genuinely encouraging news. A coordinated international operation dismantled one of the most sophisticated developer targeting botnets ever documented. That story matters as much as the others because it tells you something important about what successful defense at scale actually requires. This weekend, I am covering 4 stories in depth. This weekend, I covered 4 stories in depth in the newsletter. I'm covering them in depth again now as I talk to you, as I explain it to you. The Charter Communications breach, in which a voice phishing call against a single employee opened a path to tens of millions of customer records. The Glassworm botnet takedown, a landmark operation that severed the Russian-linked criminal infrastructure that had been poisoning the software supply chain for over a year. An SEO poisoning campaign targeting developers searching for AI coding tools, which has been running silently since March and deserves far more mention than it has received. And the FBI's formal warning about the Silent Ransom Group, which has now begun sending its operatives to physically attend your offices in person in order to steal your data. The thread connecting all 4 stories is the same thread that ran through every week before it. Human trust exploited at the exact moments when organizations have the least visibility into where that trust is being extended. Let's go to story 1, the Charter Communications breach and the phone call that cost tens of millions of records. On the 23rd of May, 2026, Charter Communications, operating under the Spectrum brand, confirmed a cybersecurity incident. Charter is not a small organization. It is one of the largest telecommunications and broadband providers in the United States, serving tens of millions of residential and business customers with internet, mobile, cable television, and telephone services. The confirmation came after the Shiny Hunter extortion group added Charter to its dark web leak site. They claimed the stolen data contained over 42 million records of personally identifiable information, and they warned that the data would be released publicly if Charter failed to open negotiations before the 27th of May. But the size of the claim is not what I want you to focus on. The mechanism of the breach is what every business owner watching this needs to sit with. The attack is reported to have began on the 1st of April 2026. It began on the 1st of April 2026 when attackers used the voice phishing technique known in the security industry as vishing, vishing, not phishing with P, but vishing with V, to trick an employee into providing access to a company account. Shiny Hunters claims the attack resulted in the compromise of a Microsoft Entra account. That is the identity and access management platform that controls employee login across Microsoft Cloud services. Once inside, the attackers allegedly leveraged that access to reach Charter's Salesforce environment where customer data was stored. No software vulnerability was exploited. No firewall was bypassed. Someone called a Charter employee claimed to be someone they were not. And the employee doing exactly what an employee would do when they believe they are speaking to a legitimate authority figure, provided the access that was requested. From that one moment, The attackers are alleged to have exported data across one of the largest telecommunications companies in the United States. The numbers in this incident require careful treatment because they have varied significantly across reporting. Shiny Hunters claimed 42 million records. Charter denied that sensitive personal information was exfiltrated. Independent analysis confirmed information tied to approximately 13 million individuals, along with roughly 27,000 employee records. A separate analysis placed the figure at approximately 4.9 million unique accounts. The divergence is explained by duplication within the raw dataset. What is not in dispute is that a substantial volume of customer and employee data entered criminal hands. Now, the business impact for organizations that are not charter, this is not primarily about the specific records involved. It is about the attack pattern. The breach appears linked to an ongoing large-scale campaign targeting Salesforce environments and enterprise cloud infrastructure. The same week, attackers linked to the same group infiltrated 7-Eleven's internal systems, compromising over 600,000 franchise applicant records from a Salesforce environment. Listen carefully. If your Microsoft Entra accounts are not protected by phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication, not standard SMS-based authentication, but phishing with a P, resistant methods such as hardware security keys or certificate-based authenticator or certificate-based authentication, then a sufficiently convincing phone call to one of your staff members is a viable path into every cloud service and SaaS, software as a service, platform connected to your identity infrastructure. Your action this weekend should have been to establish or verify a written verification procedure for any inbound IT support contact. Should have been to establish or verify, establish or prove a written verification procedure for any inbound IT support contact. That is, you have to take a written note for any IT support contact to your enterprise or company premises. Any call, email, or in-person approach claiming to be IT support must trigger independent verification through a channel your organization controls, not a number supplied by the caller, before any access is granted. That procedure does not need to be complex. It needs to be known by every member of staff before Monday morning, before Tuesday morning, before Monday evening, before Monday afternoon. Story 2, the Glassworm takedown and what it tells us about supply chain risk. On the 26th of May, 2026 at 1400 hours UTC, the CrowdStrike counter-adversary operations team executed a coordinated takedown of the Glassworm botnet. This was not a routine operation. Glassworm was a global threat targeting software developers through the open source supply chain. In collaboration with Google and the Shadow Server Foundation, CrowdStrike struck all 4 of Glassworm's command and control channels simultaneously, severing the operators from their infected machines and their ability to deliver new malicious payloads. Let me explain why this matters to you, even if your organization does not write software. Active since early 2025, Glassworm specifically targeted software developers through the open source supply chain. That represents a significant shift in the threat landscape. Adversaries are no longer focused primarily on the products. They are focused on the people who build these products. A single compromised developer workstation is not an end target. It is an entry point into every code base, every deployment pipeline, and every downstream organization consuming the software that developer produces. More than 300 GitHub repositories were poisoned during the Glassworm campaign. Malicious code was introduced through compromised NPM and Python packages. Trojanized VS Code extensions were published to the Open VSX marketplace. What made Glassworm particularly difficult to dismantle was its command and control architecture, designed to survive a partial disruption. The botnet used the Solana blockchain BitTorrent's distributed hash table and Google Calendar event titles to route commands. The botnet used the Solana blockchain, BitTorrent's distribution hash table, and Google Calendar event titles to route commands to infected machines. Channels that could not be taken down by any single authority. Simultaneous disruption of all 4 channels was required. That took months of coordinated preparation between CrowdStrike, Google, and the Shadow Server Foundation. Now the critical operational caveat. The takedown blocked command and control communication. It did not clean compromised hosts. In any of your if any of your development team members were running VS Code extensions sourced from the Open VSX marketplace, Python packages or NPM packages between early 2025 and 26th of May 2026, those machines require active investigation now. Your action from this weekend that has ended, henceforth, ask your development team one specific question. Are all software packages and extensions currently in use pinned to a specific verified version? If the answer is no or unknown, those machines require investigation before the working week begins. Story 3. SEO poisoning and the AI tool installer campaign. This is the story that has received the least attention this week. It should be receiving more. In early March 2026, analysts at Eclectic IQ, Eclectic IQ identified an ongoing info stealer campaign targeting developers. Searching for Gemini command line interface or CLI and Cloud Code, 2 widely used AI coding tools. Threat actors used SEO poisoning to surface fake domains above legitimate results in search engine rankings, directing victims to attacker-controlled websites that precisely mimicked genuine AI agent installation pages. This campaign has been running silently since March. It is still running now, and it is geographically targeted. Let me walk you through how exactly it works, because the attack chain is deceptively simple. Victims arrive at pages that are nearly identical to official installation guides. They are instructed to paste a single PowerShell command into their terminal. That one action quietly deploys a powerful info stealer capable of draining credentials, session tokens, and sensitive files. The info stealer executes entirely in memory through PowerShell, leaving no files on disk, making forensic detection substantially more difficult. What makes this campaign especially effective is the final step. While the malicious script runs in the background, it simultaneously installs the legitimate tool via the standard package manager. The developer sees the legitimate tool installed correctly. They have no reason to suspect anything went wrong. The info stealer has already completed its work before the installation confirmation appears on screen. The stolen data includes OAuth tokens, continuous integration credentials, corporate VPN details, and session cookies from platforms including Slack, Microsoft Teams, Discord, and Telegram. The campaign is geographically targeted at users in the United States and the United Kingdom. If your organization is based in the United Kingdom, this campaign is specifically targeting your developers. Your action that should have happened this weekend and it's never too late as long as you do to take corrective measures before time will tell what you do on Monday. You have the whole of Monday. Communication to every employee who installs software that AI coding tools must be downloaded exclusively. You must communicate to every employee who installs software that AI coding tools must be downloaded exclusively from verified official documentation, never from a search result. I know all of you will say, oh yeah, we have this, we do all those procedures. Times have changed. So you have to make even those people who say they know, you have to make sure they install software that AI coding tools must be downloaded exclusively from verified official documentation, never from a search result. Not the top result, not the most convincing looking page. Not the top result, not the most convincing looking page. Official documentation only reached through a bookmarked or manually typed URL. This campaign is still active, in case you didn't know. So now we go to story 4. Silent Ransom Group, law firms, and the threat that walks through your door. On the 26th of May, 2026, the FBI issued a formal advisory warning that the Silent Ransom Group, also known as Lunar Moth, Chatty Spider, and UNC 3753, has been consistently targeting United States-based law firms, but the group's documented victims span financial services, insurance, and healthcare as well. If your organization operates in any of those sectors, this advisory applies to you. That is financial services, insurance, and healthcare. The group has escalated its social engineering operations to pose as employees from victims' IT departments, using either direct phone calls or phishing emails, urging recipients to contact a fake IT support number. The group has escalated its social engineering operations to pose as employees from victims' IT departments, using either direct phone calls or phishing emails, urging recipients to contact a fake IT support number. But what distinguishes this group from the broader landscape of data extortion operations is a characteristic that has almost no parallel in documented cybercrime. Physical presence. I repeat, physical presence. If the phone and email-based approaches fail, the Silent Ransom Group sends a threat actor to the victim's location to gain physical access and insert a storage device into the victim's computer. This is like Mr. Robot. For those who watch the sci-fi thriller, Mr. Robot. This is Mr. Robot coming into real life. They says fact is stranger than fiction, and this is revealing that. So I want to be precise here because I know how this sounds. This is not theoretical. This is not a theoretical escalation. It is not speculation. It is a documented operational tactic confirmed by the FBI and corroborated by multiple independent security firms. The group has claimed responsibility for more than 100 attacks, with activity surging in recent months. Unlike conventional ransomware actors, the Silent Ransom Group does not encrypt files. It exfiltrates data and extorts through threats of public disclosure. The first sign an organization may have that an incident has taken place is a ransom demand delivered after the attacker has already left the building. Your action henceforth this weekend has passed, but review your visitor access policy. Review your visitor access policy. An individual arriving unannounced and claiming to be IT support is not a routine event. It requires a verification protocol. Remote access tools such as AnyDesk and Quick Assist must be permitted only when an organization-initiated IT request is already in progress, never on the basis of an unsolicited inbound request. The verification procedure I described in story 1 covers this scenario as well. One document, one consistent protocol applied to every channel, phone, email, and in person. Strategic analysis. The week in context. 4 stories, 4 different attack vectors. One underlying structural problem. The charter breach required no technical capability beyond a convincing phone call. The Glassworm botnet required developers to trust that the open source ecosystem delivers clean code. The SEO poisoning campaign required developers to trust that search engines surface legitimate results. The Silent Ransom Group required victims to trust that someone arriving at their office claiming to be IT support actually works in IT support. In each case, the attacker's primary capability was not technical. It was the ability to be trusted by someone who had no framework for verifying that trust. Technical controls and human verification procedures are not alternatives to each other. They address different threat vectors simultaneously. The organizations that came through this week in the best position are the ones that had already built those both layers. And the organization best positioned for what comes next are the ones with an inventory of which IT tools their development teams are currently using, because that inventory is the prerequisite for knowing whether any of those tools have been compromised. You cannot govern what you have not listed. You cannot detect compromise in a tool you did not know was deployed. The inventory is not a technical exercise. It is a governance decision that precedes every effective technical control. 3 decisions before Monday, or which should be taken as soon as possible if this gets you late on Monday. Before I close, I want to give you 3 decisions, not recommendations, decisions that need to be made. They should have been made this weekend that has ended, but you should do it ASAP. Decision 1, does your organization have a written procedure for verifying IT support contacts by phone, email, or in person before granting any access? If not, that document needs to exist before Monday morning or as soon as possible, as soon as you get the news. Decision 2, have your developers confirmed that their machines do not carry any VS Code extension, NPM packages, or Python libraries installed from unverified sources in the past 12 months? Past 12 months, mind you, not even last month or 2 months ago, but the past 12 months. If that confirmation has not been made, it needs to be made before the working week begins, or even before the working week even has run its course. Decision 3, have you communicated to your team that AI coding tool installations must come exclusively from official documentation? If that communication has not gone out, send it now. 3, decisions, all of them achievable this weekend or this week, coming week, starts today. None of them requiring budget approval, a board meeting and a budget approval, a procurement process, or an IT project. They require a decision and an instruction. So looking ahead, before I close, a brief look at what I am monitoring for the week ahead. The Chinese Hunters Salesforce campaign is not finished. Any organization running Salesforce should be reviewing authentication controls and third-party integration permissions this weekend and henceforth from now on. The SEO poisoning campaign targeting AI tool installers is ongoing and geographically targeted at UK and United States organizations. The credential harvest from the supply chain campaigns that ran through March and April 2026 has not yet been fully monetized. I am monitoring for the first major ransomware incident traceable to that harvest. Subscribers to the AI breach report will receive that analysis in Wednesday's edition when it emerges. If you are not yet subscribed to the AI breach report every Wednesday and Friday, edition is published on LinkedIn at the moment. You can check for LinkedIn and subscribe. I'm trying to get through to other channels. I was trying to do it on Substack, but Substack procedure is a bit it's difficult at the moment, but I'm going to keep on trying. I'll just put my articles there, and those who want to link up can always subscribe. For those who are interested, I haven't yet had any much luck with Substack. My most successful is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is straightforward. When people want to hear from you, they subscribe and they show interest. I also, in the groups I'm in LinkedIn, people are very enthusiastic. I don't know about other. I've tried Facebook. I'm still trying, and vice versa. That is the weekend intelligence brief for Saturday, the 30th of May, and Sunday, the 31st of May. I'm Frederick Wakuliaka. This is Issues of the Day from Frederick Cybersecurity. If this briefing was useful to you, share it with the business owners and senior leaders in your network who need it. They may not be reading the intelligence. You can put it in front of them. You can even subscribe and watch my videos where I will give it to you live, what is going on, so you can make changes if you listen carefully and pay attention. So without much further ado, stay sharp, stay informed until you hear from me again. Just like my recording and subscribe at Frederick Wakliaka 4561. You'll always get the news. If you don't read the newsletters, you'll get it late, but you'll get it, and I'll give it to you precisely with what needs to be done. Thank you. Good luck, and proceed with caution.